Welcome back to Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Just beautiful weather. Not a beautiful race, unfortunately. We're going to have to talk about that. We asked some drivers about the driving standards in the WeatherTech Sports Car Championship after this race. But it's good to be back. If you enjoy content from places like Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, you can like this video, comment, and subscribe. All of those things are free to do and help me out tremendously. So you would be helping me out a lot if you do that. Thank you guys so much for that. Today was a crash fest. There's no doubt about it. Most of the race not most of the race, but a significant portion of the race, particularly a significant portion of the first half of this 2 hour and 40-minute race, run under the yellow flag, which was just not something I necessarily love. I do love the fans here in Road America. They're great, and there were a lot of them today. Certainly, I think people are energized about IMSA up here. They're very energetic and excited to see a 6 hour race here next year. We just hope half of the race isn't run under caution again. So the big discussion throughout the paddock, the media center, everywhere, was the driving standards. And we wanted to ask some of the winners of the race, well, what do they think about the driving standards here in the WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, especially after today's kind of chaotic race?
I think just giving consequences to the guys that are getting pushed off or the guys that are pushing off. I think there's not many penalties seen in the races, and I think if there's no consequences, the drivers are more prone to doing these kind of moves and pushing people wide. So, for example, in WEC, if you do these kind of things, you get a penalty instantly, which is probably a bit too much, but somewhere in the middle would be a good compromise.
I definitely think there's a balance to be had, and I don't know where this race was. I mean, it was cool watching some of the GTD Pro cars battle it out pretty tough. I strongly think that the GTD Pro cars should be able to battle out more than some of the other class cars. Different drivers, different standards. But, I mean, there's a balance between having a fun race and being taken out. I don't know where this race was, but I can tell you there was definitely a lot of action on it, and it was fun to watch on TV. So,
and you've already heard from some of these winners today. Wanted to talk about each class kind of in depth. GTP was one, and the overall win, I guess we should also say, number 24 BMW RLL team, Philip Eng and Dries Van Thor, which is the first win of BMW this season. They've been knocking on the door all year long. They've had incredible pace here in the WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, but haven't broken through, and it wasn't pace that won this race. It was strategy. You know, that was the thing I zeroed in on all week long going into this was strategy. Okay, well, what are we going to do with the strategy? And it was ultimately a strategy call that won the race. It was what we would call in IndyCar racing a dumpster dive. It was the last pit stop. The BMW RLL team decided we're going to pit both cars early and hope it works out. And ultimately it did work out. We got a caution for the number 7 Penske Porsche running the number 10 Wayne Taylor Racing Cadillac off of the racetrack. That brought out the full course yellow. Got the number 7 a stop plus 60, and that ultimately was why the BMW team was able to win. It's kind of interesting as well. You know, you think about Rahal Letterman Lanigan, the last 1-2 and the last win that they have had on the racetrack. They've actually won 3 IMSA races with this GTP program, the last 2 wins have been 1-2s, and they've been after traumatic events. You think about back to Indianapolis when they were raided by the FBI thanks to a tip-off by Andretti Global, and then you get here and it was announced that Rahal Letterman Lanigan and BMW will be parting ways at the end of this year with that program. The idea is that WRT is likely to take over that program. We're not sure if it's going to be a full season or a partial season schedule next year for that program, but you know, that remains to be seen. But once again, something happens and there's a traumatic event, and all of a sudden it's a 1-2 for BMW. Just kind of surprising how things work like that. It's there's no coincidences in racing after all. 93 Acura, man, that was my pick. I learned from Detroit. I said they would not win Detroit. I picked them because they were the fastest car clearly here. The pole-sitting machine could drive through the field seemingly at will, except for past the 2 leading BMWs at the end of the race. it was kind of disappointing, I think, for the Acura team, because they really had it in hand. They had total pace dominance. Ultimately, it was just the strategy call that cost them the race. If you looked at Renger van de Zande, just absolutely blitzing past the two Porsches on that restart, you saw the pace that they had. But ultimately, they come up short, and them's just the breaks here in the sprint races, that's for sure. But it did feel like it was going to be like Detroit, where they were just going to drive up through the field regardless of the strategy call. And then the Aston Martin Valkyrie finished 6th position on the road today. That is the best finish for that machine, whether that is in the World Endurance Championship or the the WeatherTech Championship here in IMSA. So really good for Aston Martin. We're looking forward to hopefully seeing that program become even more competitive and potentially a race winner in the future. LMP2 won by the number 99 AO Racing Orica. They're all Oricas, 14 of them in this race. That was the Spike, or Spike. Drivers were Dane Cameron and PJ Hyatt. Dominant win, essentially. I mean, PJ Hyatt's really becoming quite a good little P2 driver. A lot of people are beginning to draw the comparisons to him and Ben Keating. I think PJ might even be better. We'll have to see as time goes on, but yeah, certainly PJ did a great job today, and Dane Cameron cleaned up for him quite nicely. And yeah, it's the second win in a row, by the way, for AO Racing. They won at Most Sport, the most recent race for the LMP2 cars, and that was an overall win because there were no GTP cars there. GTD Pro, you already heard from Madison Snow and Neil Verhagen earlier today when I asked them about the driving standards, and well, Paul Miller Racing didn't want to talk about the driving standards. I can't imagine why. It was a bad race for Corvette, partially because they got absolutely punted by while leading the race, or at least taking the lead from the number 48 Paul Miller Racing BMW. That doesn't surprise anybody who's been paying attention to IMSA this year. The Corvette and the BMW found each other. I can't believe it. So there's some more beef for the stew as we get down into the last couple of races in the WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. 3 to go for GTD Pro. Their next race is at VIR. So pay attention to that. GTD, number 021, Tarasi Racing Ferrari won on, I'm going to say this wrong, on Firo Tarasi, and Keaton Koch won this race. Really exciting battle, probably the best battle for a class win in the entire race. It came down to a battle with DXDT Racing, and I think a lot of us were thinking we were going to get a Robert Wickens win in GTD. It did not happen, but a pretty amazing battle. Kind of definitely some argy-bargy, and kind of when we get into the driving standards, that was probably right about the limit of where you wanted to be with the contact and how close it was. But I thought it was an exciting finish, and seriously, congrats to Tarasi. I believe, could be wrong, this is their first win in IMSA, so that's pretty cool. A few more points to make before we get off of the air. Again, I kind of mentioned the Rahal Letterman Lanigan team. The last win for them was a 1-2. It was at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and at least for the GTP cars, they will be at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway next in about a month's time for the 6 hours at Indianapolis. And, it's going to be the last 6 hours at Indy, which is going to be one of those things that, I think most of the paddock's pretty happy about that. And again, I'm the Indy guy, so you would think that I would be upset about that, but not really. The Indy road course is the Indy road course. You have to add water to it to make it any good. And we got lucky last year. It rained. You can't expect that it's going to rain every year. And, the fans at this racetrack, the best. The racetrack itself, one of the best in the country, if not the best in the country. So to give them a 6-hour race, I mean, please let it run into the dusk or the night. But yeah, it totally makes sense that this race will have an endurance race next year. The fans support it, the team support it, the drivers support it. I just hope the drivers drive a little more with their brains next time and maybe not with so many of their other body parts. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. I was really glad to get back up here to Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Hopefully things will work out that I can come to the IndyCar race here next year. But, you never know how things are going to work out with the 24 Hours of Le Mans. And unfortunately, I will give that the priority 99 times out of 100. So thank you guys so much for watching from beautiful Road America. This has been David Land. We'll see you in the next video.